On a calm morning, the Mehta family home was unusually quiet. Rahul Mehta, a young and accomplished businessman, was known for his sharp business acumen and gentle demeanor. Professionally, he was thriving, heading a rapidly growing tech company. Personally, he was a devoted husband and father to 2 children. Yet, just a few days ago, this prominent figure mysteriously vanished from sight. The story began on a weekend. That morning, Rahul told his wife Anya that he planned to relax by fishing at the nearby Chapara lake. He joked about needing a conversation with nature to escape the mounting work stress. After packing his fishing gear and a bottle of water, he quietly shut the door and left home. That was the last time his family saw him. By evening, Rahul still hadn't returned. At first, Anya thought he might have lost track of time enjoying himself, but as the night deepened, her unease grew. She called his phone repeatedly, only to be greeted by a mechanical voice message. She reached out to Rahul's friends and colleagues, but no one had heard from him. The following morning, a distressed Anya, along with her 2 young children, reported Rahul's disappearance to the local police. Responding quickly, the authorities organized a search team to scour the Chapara Lake area where Rahul had said he would be fishing. Along the lake's edge, they found several unsettling clues: Rahul's fishing gear abandoned on the shore, a jacket resembling his draped over a tree branch, and a tattered straw hat floating on the water's surface. These discoveries hinted at a tragic possibility, that he may have drowned. The disappearance sparked a massive public outcry in the area. News outlets swarmed to cover the story, plastering Rahul's photos and background details everywhere. Neighbors and friends gathered at his home to comfort the family, while social media erupted with a campaign under the hashtag #FindRahul. People expressed sorrow over the potential loss of a perfect husband and successful entrepreneur, while others raised questions. How could an experienced adult encounter danger in such calm waters? Though on the surface it appeared to be an unfortunate accident, the police couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to this case than met the eye. Why would a businessman surrounded by success and a loving family vanish so suddenly? Was it a natural tragedy or something more sinister? As the search deepened, this seemingly straightforward disappearance would soon unravel into a gripping and chilling mystery. Enjoying the story so far? Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more intriguing and unexpected tales. Rahul Mehta was born into an ordinary middle-class family in northern India. His father was a hard-working civil servant, and his mother was a housewife. The family wasn't wealthy, but it was filled with warmth and love. From a young age, Rahul had a deep curiosity about technology. He would often dismantle old radios or televisions at home and try to reassemble them. Although his family frequently worried about his destructive inventions, they never discouraged his exploratory spirit. During his university years, Rahul was accepted into a prestigious engineering college in Mumbai, where he studied computer science. There, he not only excelled academically, but also started a tech team with a few like-minded classmates, offering affordable software development services to local small businesses. This endeavor helped him accumulate his first seed capital and sparked his entrepreneurial ambitions. After graduation, Rahul chose to stay in Mumbai to develop his career. He joined a renowned multinational company, and within a few years, his exceptional technical skills and innovative thinking earned him a promotion to department head. However, this stable job didn't satisfy him. He always longed to build his own business and turn ideas that were difficult to implement in a large corporation into reality. The turning point came at a friend's gathering. There, he met Anya, a young woman pursuing an MBA. Anya was lively, smart, and full of wisdom, and the two instantly hit it off. Anya's independence and future plans deeply attracted Rahul, while Anya was equally charmed by Rahul's humility and determination. After 2 years of dating, they married. Shortly after their marriage, Rahul finally decided to leave his job and start his own business. He partnered with 2 college friends to found a company focused on artificial intelligence technology. In the early days of the startup, the couple lived frugally, even investing Anya's savings into the company. However, thanks to Rahul's exceptional skills and the team's hard work, the company quickly gained a foothold in the tech industry. A few years later, Rahul's company grew to become a leader in the industry, and he himself became a prominent figure in Mumbai's business circle. The company's AI applications won numerous awards, and Rahul was named Best Young Entrepreneur of the Year. He frequently thanked his family for their support, especially Anya's understanding and companionship. As his career flourished, his family life was equally happy. Rahul and Anya had a son and a daughter, and lived in a spacious and comfortable home in Mumbai. On weekends, they enjoyed going on picnics in the countryside or hosting game nights at home. All of this made others envy Rahul's perfect life. However, no one knew that behind this seemingly glorious life, an unforeseen crisis was lurking, and everything came to a halt on the day he disappeared. On the surface, Rahul's career seemed to be going smoothly, but the reality was far from it. Just as his company was reaching its peak, Rahul decided to expand into a new business area, applying artificial intelligence to medical data analysis. The project was seen as a breakthrough, and he even publicly claimed that it would be the next technological revolution. However, to fund the initiative, Rahul invested nearly all of the company's assets and took out loans from multiple financial institutions. In an effort to achieve rapid returns, he also invested in several high-risk startups, hoping to generate more capital through financial maneuvers. At first, these investments seemed to be progressing as planned, but soon, unforeseen problems arose. One startup ran into legal issues due to a major flaw in its core technology, while another had to close down because of weak market demand. The medical data analysis project also faced setbacks, as frequent technical obstacles left the team in a difficult situation. Within just a few months, Rahul was facing a massive funding shortfall. However, accustomed to success, he couldn't accept this setback and was unwilling to share the reality with anyone close to him. In order to conceal the crisis, he quietly transferred part of the company's funds overseas, trying to navigate the debt issue through a series of complex financial operations. These transactions were carefully disguised, but they led to increasingly suspicious bank statements and questionable trade records. Rahul did his best to avoid drawing attention from anyone, including Anya. However, this double life filled with deception began to make him anxious and restless. Meanwhile, the relationship between him and Anya also began to change in subtle ways. Anya, being perceptive, noticed that something was off with Rahul. He became quieter and often locked himself in his study, staring at his computer screen late into the night. The old Rahul used to share everything with her, both successes and challenges, but now he refused to discuss his work. Even when Anya asked, he would brush her off with vague explanations. This sense of emotional distance slowly spread to their entire family life. Anya tried to bring up the issue several times, but Rahul became even more indifferent. He started to use business trips and work commitments as excuses to skip family dinners. The harmonious relationship they once had seemed to be shrouded in an invisible barrier. Despite her growing doubts, Anya chose not to press the issue, instead opting to trust Rahul's explanations. However, this trust was gradually eroded by the coldness between them. Meanwhile, Rahul was becoming more deeply entangled in the web of lies he had woven. He did not realize that this crisis was not only threatening his career, but was also silently destroying his family. Under the heavy pressure of debt, Rahul's mental state gradually deteriorated. He woke up from nightmares almost every night, where he saw the faces of creditors demanding money, the angry eyes of his employees, and the disappointed gazes of his wife and children. He was terrified of facing these issues, and even more afraid of his failure being exposed. As the pressure built up, he gradually began to entertain a crazy thought, escaping everything and disappearing completely from his current life. In his mind, various ways to escape flashed by until one seemingly impossible plan started to take shape: faking his own death. To cover his tracks, he began planning meticulously from all angles. Rahul first purchased a large life insurance policy for himself, with Anya as the beneficiary. He told his wife that this was to provide greater financial security for the family, and Anya believed him without question. He then made contact with a mysterious woman named Karma. Karma was an underground contact he had met through his business network, specializing in helping people forge new identities and erase old records. She suggested several methods and, in the end, recommended that he stage an accidental death during a trip. This way, not only would he avoid his debts, but his family would also receive the insurance payout. After several interactions, Rahul decided to go ahead with the plan. He chose a solo fishing trip as the perfect opportunity, a hobby he was known to enjoy, so it would raise no suspicions. In the days before his departure, he double-checked every detail, purchasing fishing gear, renting a small boat, and booking a secluded cabin near his destination. Everything seemed perfectly legitimate, with no holes in the plan. On the morning of his departure, Rahul pretended to be in a good mood as he said goodbye to Anya, telling her that he needed some time to relax. Anya smiled and reminded him to be safe, completely unaware that this would be the last time they spoke. After arriving at the fishing spot, Rahul took a few short videos of the natural scenery with his phone and sent some of them to Anya, adding an extra layer of authenticity. Then, he threw his phone into the water to ensure it couldn't be tracked. For the next few hours, he carefully set everything up. He placed the fishing rod and life jacket on the boat, then pushed it out into the lake to create the scene of his disappearance. He removed his shoes and jacket and placed them on the shore, mimicking an accidental drowning. Once everything was in place, Rahul quickly left the area, changed into a prepared set of ordinary clothes, and entered a dense forest nearby. His plan was to meet Karma at a prearranged location and then assume a new identity to begin a new life. That evening, Anya tried calling Rahul but couldn't get through. At first, she thought it was just a signal issue, but as time passed, her worry grew. The next morning, she immediately reported him missing to the local police. The police quickly found the evidence left behind at the lake: the fishing rod, the boat, and his personal belongings. The initial assumption was that it was a tragic drowning, but because no body had been found, the search and rescue operation began in earnest. When the family received the news, they were devastated. Anya couldn't accept the sudden disappearance of her husband, and the children cried uncontrollably. The media quickly picked up the story, reporting on the successful businessman tragically drowned. Public sympathy poured in, but beneath the surface, the truth of this tragedy was just beginning to emerge. The investigation into Rahul's disappearance initially focused on the theory of drowning, but as time passed, some doubts began to emerge. The first clue was an unusual bank transaction. Just days before Rahul's disappearance, a large sum of money was transferred from his personal account to a small overseas company. The amount was alarmingly high, and the company, upon investigation, was found to be a shell company, seemingly set up to cover the flow of funds. At the same time, technicians examining Rahul's personal computer discovered that many critical files had been modified just hours before his departure. These files included details of his insurance policies and sensitive documents related to his company's assets. Even more suspicious was the fact that some of these files had been remotely deleted afterward. It appeared that Rahul's computer had been meticulously tampered with, and these signs led the police to suspect that his disappearance was not accidental. What further complicated the investigation was a report from a border officer who claimed to have seen a man closely resembling Rahul 2 days after the disappearance. The man was attempting to cross the border into a neighboring country, behaving in a very low-key manner. Although the surveillance footage was not clear, this clue added even more mystery to the case. As the media continued to cover the case, public opinion began to shift. Initially, people sympathized with the successful businessman's tragic fate, but as more doubts emerged, skepticism became the dominant narrative. In particular, the reports of the strange bank transactions and the border sighting led people to question whether Rahul had truly drowned. Some media outlets even suggested that he might have faked his own death to escape his debts. This speculation placed immense pressure on Rahul's family, and his wife, Anya, became the focal point of public scrutiny. She was repeatedly asked tough questions by the media. Did you know about the plan? Were you involved in the scheme? Anya was in distress, continually asserting that she knew nothing about Rahul's whereabouts, but her responses did little to quell the suspicions surrounding her. Meanwhile, the police decided to reclassify the case as potential fraud and escape, officially reopening the investigation. They collaborated with Interpol to track down Rahul's possible whereabouts. Using cross-border financial intelligence, border crossing records, and surveillance footage, they pieced together a trail leading to a disturbing truth. This man was likely still alive and living somewhere, continuing his hidden life. Rahul Mehta's life on the run began with a fake identity. With Karma's help, he obtained a forged passport under the name Ali Safir, leaving India and eventually settling in Tashkent, Uzbekistan. He chose to rent an apartment in a remote suburban area where most of the residents were migrant workers, making it unlikely anyone would take much notice of him. Rahul deliberately kept a low profile, limiting his activities to shopping at the local market and visiting the nearby mosque. His appearance also underwent a noticeable transformation. His hair was cut short, and he grew a beard, trying to sever all ties with his past self. Karma played a crucial role in the entire plan. Not only did she help Rahul settle in, but she also assisted him in withdrawing funds from overseas accounts, ensuring that the transactions wouldn't attract the attention of monitoring authorities. Karma knew the underground network in Tashkent well, and through her arrangements, Rahul was able to purchase fake documents and an untraceable phone to keep in touch with the outside world. Meanwhile, she was planning their next escape route, moving from Uzbekistan to Turkey, where there would be more opportunities and channels for continued hiding. However, Rahul's financial transactions ultimately became the breakthrough point for the police's investigation. Indian police, in collaboration with Interpol, launched a joint operation to conduct a thorough investigation of his bank accounts. A small transfer of funds to Uzbekistan revealed his location. After weeks of analysis and comparison, they pinpointed a residential area on the outskirts of Tashkent. The police swiftly partnered with local law enforcement to formulate a plan for his capture. On the day of the operation, as the morning light bathed the streets of Tashkent, law enforcement officers silently surrounded Rahul's apartment. They divided into teams. One group was tasked with cutting off communications in the area, while another team broke down the door to storm the apartment. Rahul, completely unaware he had been discovered, attempted to escape through the window, but was quickly subdued. Inside the apartment, the police found forged passports, cash, and a laptop containing communication records between him and Karma, along with details of his escape plans. Although the capture was brief, it left everyone involved with a sense of tension. With his arrest, a carefully designed fake death plot was finally exposed. His face appeared on the news once again, but this time not as a successful businessman, but as a criminal attempting to evade legal punishment. After Rahul Mehta's arrest, He was quickly extradited to India through coordination between multiple countries. His trial began swiftly and in court, faced with overwhelming evidence, falsified identity documents, records of fund transfers, and his communications with Karma. Rahul ultimately pleaded guilty. He admitted to orchestrating the fake death scheme, attempting to escape his debts by deceiving insurance companies. The judge sentenced him to 10 years in prison for fraud, forgery, and money laundering, and ordered him to return the full amount of the uncompleted insurance payout. However, the legal punishment could not undo the emotional trauma his family suffered. His wife Anya broke down in tears when she heard Rahul plead guilty in court, enduring both public scrutiny and inner torment. Their 2 young children, unaware of the drastic changes, sensed the sorrow in their mother's eyes. The once envied family, which had been a symbol of success, was now shattered beyond recognition. Rahul's case sparked widespread social reflection. News media and the public debated how greed and moral failure had caused a seemingly perfect man to fall into ruin. Some commentators pointed out that Rahul's choices not only destroyed his own future, but also harmed those who loved him, serving as a stark warning about society's unchecked pursuit of material desires. As the case settled, people were reminded of the power of law and justice. Though the scandal was over, the lessons it left behind continued to resonate in the minds of the public.